History is often written in the blood of thousands on open battlefields, under the thundering hooves of cavalry and the clash of steel. But in the 11th century, amidst the rugged, mist-shrouded peaks of the Alborz Mountains in Persia, a different kind of power emerged. A power that did not rely on numbers, but on silence. Not on conquest, but on psychological annihilation. This was the rise of the Hashshashin, the original order of assassins. A secret brotherhood that turned the shadows into a weapon and made the mightiest kings of the Middle Ages tremble at the mere mention of their name. To understand the terror they inspired, we must look to one man, Hassan-i-Sabbah. A brilliant strategist, a scholar, and a radical visionary. In 1090, without shedding a drop of blood, he seized the fortress of Alamut, the Eagle's Nest. Perched 2,000 meters above sea level, it was a place where the earth met the sky, virtually unreachable by any conventional army. From this stone pulpit, Hassan-i-Sabbah did not just build a fortress, he engineered a new way of war. He created a state without borders, a kingdom where sovereignty was maintained through the precision of a single blade rather than the weight of 1,000 shields. What made the Hashshashin different from common mercenaries? It was their absolute, terrifying commitment. While the Crusaders of the West and the Sultans of the East fought for land and gold, the Hashshashin fought for an idea. They were the fidai, the faithful ones. They did not strike from a distance with arrows. To them, the assassination was a ritual. They used the dagger. It required them to look their target in the eye. It required them to be so close that they could feel the dying breath of their enemy. This proximity was a message. No wall is high enough, no guard is loyal enough, and no armor is thick enough to protect you once you have been marked. The name Hashshashin carries with it a dark mythology. Legends, popularized by Marco Polo, suggest the name derives from hashish. It was said that Hassan-i-Sabbah would drug his young recruits, transporting them to a hidden garden filled with exotic fruits, flowing wine, and beautiful maidens, a literal paradise on earth. When they awoke, they were told they had visited heaven, and the only way to return was through absolute obedience and martyrdom. While modern historians debate the literal truth of the drug-induced paradise, the psychological reality remains. These men did not fear death. In fact, they embraced it. To a fidai, dying during a mission wasn't a failure, it was the ultimate promotion. When the Crusades brought the Knights of Europe to the Holy Land, they encountered a nightmare they were not prepared for. The Knights Templar and the Hospitallers, legendary for their prowess in battle, found themselves vulnerable in ways they couldn't comprehend. The Hashshashin were masters of disguise. A monk praying in a cathedral, a beggar on a dusty street, or even a trusted servant in a lord's bedchamber could be a sleeper agent. The story of the great Saladin, the legendary Muslim sultan, serves as a chilling testament. Twice, the assassins bypassed his elite guards. Once, Saladin awoke to find a poisoned cake and a dagger pinned to his bed with a note that simply said, "You are in our grip." The message was clear. You don't have to die today, but we can make it happen tomorrow. Saladin, the man who defied the Third Crusade, eventually realized that the only way to survive was to negotiate with the shadows. The training of a Hashshashin was grueling. They were polyglots, learning the languages and customs of their enemies to blend in perfectly. They studied theology, philosophy, and politics. They were trained to wait. Some waited months, even years, living mundane lives near their target, becoming a part of the scenery until the perfect moment arrived. It was this patience that turned them into the most effective intelligence agency of the medieval world. They didn't just kill, They dismantled power structures from the inside out. Every empire, no matter how hidden, eventually faces a force it cannot outmaneuver. For the Hashshashin, that force was the Mongol Empire. In the mid-13th century, Hulagu Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan, led a colossal army into Persia. The Mongols did not care for the psychological games or the political intricacies of the Middle East. They brought total destruction. One by one, the unreachable mountain fortresses were besieged and dismantled. Alamut fell in 1256. The great libraries, containing centuries of secret knowledge and philosophical treatises, were burned to ashes. The order was scattered, their physical power broken, their leaders executed. Though the fortresses fell, the ghost of the Hashshashin never truly left the human consciousness. The word assassin became a permanent part of the English language, a linguistic shadow of a Persian sect. Their legacy lives on in the clandestine operations of modern intelligence agencies and in the vibrant worlds of popular culture, from the Assassin's Creed franchise to countless historical thrillers. Today, the ruins of Alamut stand as silent sentinels over the valleys of Iran. The wind howls through the crumbled stone, whispering the names of the men who once held the world in a grip of ice. They reminded the powerful that they were mortal. They proved that a single dedicated individual could shift the course of history more effectively than an entire battalion. The Hashshashin were more than just killers. They were a reminder that in the game of power, the most dangerous move is the one you never see coming.